Talk about that. So JobSeeker, $50 extra a fortnight. The income-free threshold will also increase as well. What's your reaction to that?
I'm very pleased that the income-free threshold is going to be at the present coronavirus rate of $300 a fortnight. That's very important, that's going to remain. The government has still got a formal announcement to do.
Right.
So I'll wait and see the detail. And the detail is going to be really important because they will have to introduce legislation this week, particularly with the coronavirus supplement finishing on the 31st of March. Labor will not be pushed into nominating an amount. That is extremely crude, a crude way to look at this. It would appear that the government is not going to do the thing that they said that they would do, and that is wrap all the supplements into the increase. I mean, at the end of the day, when you analyse those supplements, very few of them go to very many people. So we will have a look at the detail,
right,
and examine the legislation.
Fair enough. Just on that income-free threshold, my initial information was it was 300, but then the next information I was getting that perhaps it was only 150 a fortnight for all cohorts. So that seems up in the air. If it's only 150 a fortnight, is that too low?
My understanding is that it was 150 a fortnight. Because of coronavirus, the government did increase it to 300 for all people on JobSeeker. And my understanding, Tom, is that they're going to retain it at 300, right, which is something that we would be very much
as
welcome.
I said, it's a bit uncertain at the moment because some people, for example, at the moment still only get $106 a fortnight, depending on if you're a carer and so on. But if it maxes out at 150, is that too low? I mean, if you're saying 300 is good, 150's got to be too low, doesn't it? 150 in the current circumstances
is probably too low, but I'm fairly certain it is $300 a fortnight. Now, remembering this, and this is a really important point, prior to the pandemic, there were about 800,000 people on the old New Start payment, which became JobSeeker. There are now 1.3 million people, because of the pandemic, that are now on JobSeeker. So that's a very important point, and it's going to be interesting to see how many people end up on the unemployment line
but also
with the finishing of JobKeeper.
Right? So we have to be a bit wary of saying, well, there's so many more people on it, and then a year or two later it's costing the budget heaps of money, and we think maybe that was a bit generous.
Well, what Labor's very focused on, and I am absolutely firm about this, is that the government can make whatever announcements it wants to today, and we can have the discussion about whether they're adequate or not. But the real issue is what the government does in the budget in May, and if Mr Morrison is true to his word, the following budget, because that will really tell us where they're at in terms of right, commitment to Centrelink.
Just to clarify, $50, you're not going to comment today on whether that's a fair enough increase?
No, I am not going to comment on that, and I won't be pushed into commenting on that. I want to see what's in the legislation, which we expect to see tomorrow or Thursday.